we'll start with the NFL though, and we'll go to my Dallas Cowboys, who everybody, including myself, wrote off last week after they shit the bed, no other way to put it, against the San Francisco 49ers.
Really bad.
It was ugly. It was about as bad as it could get, and they did bounce back with a win last night. We all picked the Chargers, you, me, and my dad.
Oh, did I pick the Chargers? Couldn't remember.
We
Makes
all
sense.
we all picked the Chargers, yeah. And I think we all last night in the game were kind of thinking the Cowboys were going to still win, but we all picked the Chargers.
That's why we all picked the Chargers. So
That's
the
right.
Cowboys had a chance.
I think we should just do that from now on. We just pick the
other
opposite
team.
of the
Well,
Cowboys.
that's what your
week.
dad's been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't work for him very well.
Oh, they're gonna lose, Turner. They're gonna lose again. I'm telling you.
They're playing the Jets at home without Aaron Rodgers. No chance. So we got Cowboys took on the Chargers. We talked about this. We watched the game together, obviously, last night, and we saw a Justin Herbert that either wasn't 100% or he had, I don't know what was up, but he was missing throws left and right last night. It was really odd. Didn't play very well. His numbers are okay. He threw for 227, 2 touchdowns and a pick. The pick came on essentially the last play of the game, meaningful play where Stephon Gilmore picked him off. But the Cowboys defense, you have to give them some credit. They stepped up last night. They got absolutely torched by Kyle Shanahan last Sunday night, and they took on a Chargers offense that's one of the better offenses in the league, and they also got Austin Eckler back last night, held Eckler to 14 carries for 27 yards, held Herbert in check, albeit he missed some open throws, and with the exception of Keenan Allen, not a big night for any receivers. Palmer had 4 catches for 60 yards.
I think I'd have to look at the stats, but it doesn't seem like, besides McCaffrey, who runs the ball on everybody this year, it doesn't seem like the Cowboys have been giving up yards to anybody on the ground. So they've been doing very well there. And like you said, Herbert didn't look himself. I don't know if it was, obviously he's got that broken finger, dislocated finger on the non-throwing hand, but just missed Keenan Allen a couple times where he was like wide open. You're like, I never see him miss those throws. Another one in the end zone when he was under pressure. But Micah Parsons, it was hilarious. I don't know if you heard him, but I pointed out to you that Troy Aikman was like, they've done a real nice job on Micah Parsons tonight. And literally the next second, he hit Herbert right in the mouth and backed him up. And then the next play was a pick. So, I think it was the next play.
It was
the pick, right?
It was the next play.
So, Herbert was definitely very conscious, I think, of getting hit by Micah Parsons. And the one hit where, I never, advocate violence, but the hit that Curse had on him that picked up 15 yards, at the time I was like, oh, what a horrible penalty. But after that hit, he was not the same. I don't think he was concussed. They have to go through the concussion protocol, whatever. But big hits like that definitely, especially when you're nursing a broken finger on the other hand, anyway, Herbert did not look himself, but you got to give the Cowboys defense a lot of credit. And Dak Prescott, he didn't turn over the ball, did he?
He was 21 for 30, 272, a touchdown throwing. He also, and I'll get to this, he ran for seven times for 40 yards in the touchdown.
Yeah, he had that the zone read that he thank God he pulled it. I think he was trying to give it. I don't know what happened, but ran whatever 30 yards for a touchdown or whatever that was. So that was a nice play. And I think it was a bunch. We know the Cowboys defense is talented. We know they played a really bad game against the Niners, but I think everybody kind of coming into it was expecting more of a high-scoring game, and it was kind of a, low-scoring affair with not a lot of explosive plays in it. So both defenses were pretty good, and like you had mentioned to me, the Chargers defense had just been secondary anyway. It had just been horrible. So glad the Cowboys got the win, and when they did kick that field goal to go up 3, we both said, oh, well, this is the best we're doing here is overtime, and they ended up getting an interception. So
the defense stepped up big. Yeah, you could tell when the Cowboys get inside the 40-yard line, Mike McCarthy's mouth starts watering, thinking, oh, my God, I got a field goal here. Yep. Like, we're good. About to kick it back to one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The
Sark special. 3rd and 9, run it. Go up 3, baby.
Got to go, with under 2 minutes to go and then rush 3 for a minute. To Dan Quinn's credit, he finally brought some pressure on that last drive.
Yep.
And I think the reason he doesn't is because basically since he's been there, they have gotten natural pressure better than any team in the league.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have to, don't do it. But, you look at it, Herbert had was sacked 1 time last night, and Dak was sacked 5 times. But I actually feel like Herbert was under pressure a lot more of the night than Dak was.
Yeah, Dak was holding on to the ball, I think, a few times too long, and Herbert was definitely, like I said, conscious of Micah Parsons running around everywhere like he always does, causing havoc. So like you said, not a lot of sacks, but I bet if you looked at the under pressures or whatever, I mean, it was maybe not right in his face, but he was backing up those tackles into him and making life difficult for him. So.
Right. I do think that, last night was a battle of, Mike McCarthy versus Kellen Moore and who can make their team look more incompetent offensively. They both won last night. Tony Pollard was 15 carries for 30 yards, 2 yards a carry. I mean, both quarterbacks were they were good, but there was no offensive explosion. You just watched a lot of situations with the play calls. I know we talked about Herbert's finger maybe being an issue on that 4th and short, but on both, they had a 4th and goal at the 1, I believe, and they had a 4th and inches earlier in the game. In both of those plays, Kellen Moore decided to throw it. It gave me flashbacks to his time in Dallas.
Yeah, the old goal line sets for the Cowboys. I'll say never was a big fan of Kellen Moore. I know you and your dad pretty much hate him, but never a big fan. But Mike McCarthy makes him look like Kyle Shanahan. That's how bad Mike McCarthy is at calling plays. I mean, he's really bad, and at least they found a little bit more down the field. I would say they hit CD for a couple big plays, luckily, but like you said, that's probably just a credit to how bad the secondary is for the Chargers. But it was good to see the ball go more than 20 yards down the field instead of these. We had that one call where it was I think 3rd and 7 from midfield, and
there wasn't a single guy beyond the sticks.
It was a play action pass with a bunch of crossing routes underneath. Anyway,
it was horrific.
Interesting play caller to say the least. But I don't know how much longer he'll hold on to those duties or if he'll give them up to somebody else. But it can't. I mean, I think anybody could do better. I was laughing the other day. Dave Portnoy says some funny stuff, but he was talking about if he ever bought an NFL team, and he's like, yeah, I mean, without question, I'd be the offensive coordinator. He's dead serious. He's like, if I'm spending that much money on a team, I own 50% of them. The stipulation will be I can call the plays, and at least for a year. And they're like, well, what if you're bad? He's like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm calling the plays. I'm the offensive coordinator. All the years of him being on the couch, I'm sure losing money, whatever. So he's like, What are these guys doing? So I think he wants to, prove that the common man can call plays better than Mike McCarthy. But
well, I do think that it would be a tight matchup between the two who could call a better game, and I don't think Dave Portnoy would be half decent, but half decent is significantly better than Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
But I would pay a lot of money to see if Dave Portnoy calling plays for an NFL team.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dallas gets the win, and the Cowboys looked better than they did the last week, and better than they did against the Cardinals. So we'll see. They go into the bye week 4-2, and before the season started, that gauntlet of a schedule early on, when we looked at it, 4 of the 6 games were on the road. You had the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, albeit he didn't actually end up playing, right? The Giants weren't supposed to be as bad as they were, and you had to play them on the road week 1. So, and then you go Chargers and 49ers. So to come out of this 4-2 isn't the worst thing in the world, and we'll see how the second half of the season goes after the bye week.
Yeah, going into the bye 4-2 instead of 3-3 is huge.
Huge. That was a huge swing game in the Cowboys season.
Big for morale, for sure.
No doubt.